Good morning, China! If a bullet can do this to brick and cement, imagine what it would do to you. Hello everybody, my name is Jeff Bell. I'm an American living in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. I just got back from 5 mind-blowing days on Kinmen Island. It's one of the most fascinating and unique places I've ever been. And I cannot wait to share with you the videos from that trip. But right now you're probably thinking, Kinmen Island, where is that? I've never heard of it. I'm afraid to ask. Don't worry. Before I moved to Taiwan, I'd never heard of Kinmen Island either. And when it comes to geography, I'm kind of a big deal. I am the 2-time Woodward, Oklahoma Junior High School Geography B champion. As an 8th grader, I finished 5th in the state. And even though those glory days were a long time ago, I still know a lot about the world, and I'd never heard of Kinmen Island. But before I take you there and show you the videos, I think it's important that I give you a quick and dirty geography and history lesson so you'll have some context around what I show you. Alright, let's start that lesson right now. Many people don't realize that Taiwan controls many of the islands between the main island of Taiwan and the mainland of China. Taiwan controls the Matsu Islands, an archipelago of 36 islands in the East China Sea. Taiwan also controls the strategically important Penghu Islands in the Taiwan Straits. Perhaps most annoyingly for China, Taiwan owns the Kinmen Islands, a group of islands just off the mainland. Little Kinmen Island is a mere 3 miles from Xiamen, a major port city of 7 million people. So you might be thinking, if Kinmen Island is so close to China, why don't they just go over and take it? First of all, don't give them any ideas. Second of all, they tried to take it over the years. Spoiler alert, it did not go so well. During the Chinese Civil War in the late 1940s, the Communist Army routed the Nationalists and forced them to offshore island in the main island of Taiwan. The most famous and important battle for the islands took place on October 25, 1949. The Communist forces commandeered wooden fishing boats from the locals and launched an amphibious assault, arriving around 2 in the morning. They arrived about high tide, and many of the boats got hung up on underwater obstacles. The Nationalist army was able to destroy many of these boats, and they were not able to return to the mainland to get reinforcements. In a stroke of luck for the Nationalist army, during exercises the night before, one of their tanks got stuck on the beach. 2 other tanks were in the process of trying to pull it out when the communists arrived. They were therefore in perfect position to fire on the invaders. For a day and a half, a battle raged on the island, with the Communist Army briefly taking the town of Guningtou. In fact, you can still see bullet holes in the buildings there today. But by morning of October 28th, all 10,000 Communist troops who landed on Kinmen Island were killed or captured. This battle is credited with saving Taiwan as a nation. I could talk for hours about the Taiwan Strait Crises of the 1950s, but this is a quick and dirty history, so I'm going to make this as concise as possible. Throughout the Taiwan Strait Crises of the 1950s, the Chinese and Taiwanese forces fought skirmishes and battles on the outlying islands, with the Communist forces dropping over 1 million shells on Kinmen Island alone. After the second Taiwan Strait Crisis ended in stalemate, both sides settled upon a routine of bombarding each other every other day with shells containing propaganda leaflets. During this gentleman's agreement, each side knew when and where the attacks would occur and were able to avoid the areas. As a result, fatalities were kept to a minimum. This bombardment continued until 1979, when the United States and China normalized relations. Kinmen Island today has been mostly demilitarized. There's only about 3,000 troops on the island versus 100,000 that were there during its heyday. And as a result, the island has turned into a tourist destination. Although China and Taiwan have developed at a breakneck pace, Kinmen Island never developed in the same way. I guess the constant shelling and threat of war made it a less than desirable place to live or invest. As a result, the islands give us a glimpse of what China looked like in the past before rapid modernization. The islands have a charming, stuck-in-time quality, with many Qing Dynasty-era courtyard homes, historic villages, and ancient temples. Starting in 2015, Chinese tourists were allowed to visit Kinmen without getting a permit in advance. About 40 ferries a day made the short crossing to the island, bringing in millions of tourists a year. And then COVID, the gift that just keeps on giving, messed everything up. Since early 2020, the border has been closed with no signs of reopening. Taiwan has strict quarantine rules for entry, making it difficult for many Taiwanese people to travel abroad. As a result, Taiwanese travelers have flooded to Kinmen Island, making up for the lack of foreign visitors. Kinmen Island has been in the news a lot lately. It might be in the news a lot more the way things are going. Since Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, China has been acting out, flying drones into Kinmen Island's airspace. Hopefully things get back to normal soon, and the transportation links to the mainland are reinstated. After 30 years of war, Kinmen Island became a symbol of what cross-strait relations could become. Two neighbors coexisting side by side in peace. Kinmen Island is a special place that could be a major tourist destination for Chinese and foreign travelers. It has spectacular beaches, stunning architecture, and friendly people. The coolest thing about visiting Kinmen Island today is visiting all the old military installations. You can go to underground naval bases, you can go to artillery stations, outposts that overlook China. Click this link to check it all out.